Hello, and welcome to Music at the Piano. Today, in this lesson, we will explore Evening Song, which is printed on pages 29, 30, and 31 in Mayron Cole's Older Beginner Level 2 textbook. You can find the link to this, sorry, I'm covering my face. Find the link to this in the description below the video when you click on the word more. This, again, is focusing on, we're about to have a visitor, I think, focusing in on the intervals of thirds and seconds, adding flats, and also learning to use the pedal. Okay, you want to get up here where people can see you? Yeah, this is the musical support network. Yeah, we can support music lessons, right? By keeping people company. So, play for your pet at home and see if they like it. I'll see you in the lesson. Now we are looking at the overhead view of Evening Song, which is mostly in the key of F major, F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F. Although in the middle of the piece she has a lot of fun with some chromaticism. Well, toward the end of the piece, she has a lot of fun with chromaticism. And in measure 7, she is playing a little bit with the dominant of F major, which is C major. So this gives you a feeling of C major, and then she goes right back into F major. And that's not unusual. Composers will often go into the dominant of a key for a little bit and then go back into the key. So here's the right hand of Evening Song. And I do not think there's any intervals other than seconds and thirds, but I could be wrong. The left hand, there's lots of double thirds, and then when she uses a melodic line, it's stepwise. So you've got this third, and then a third on G and B flats, back to F and A. You want to use your wrist to allow your arm to follow your fingers. You know what? I think measure 7 is a misprint. If you're looking at your music, no, I'm sorry, it isn't. That is a B natural. Had a moment there. So, yeah, I must be tired. 7 that's the place where she goes into C major. Then she gets very chromatic over here on the second page. And let's put her hands together. Oh, I know what I wanted to say. Don't forget in measure 14 that the B flat lasts throughout the measure. When there's this B flat, it also means that there's a B flat on the last B flat there. Now here is in the last measure, she gives you the flat because she's asking you to play it an octave lower. 1, 2, ready, go. we're looking at evening song, and there's a work page to start with. These are harmonic intervals. If the notes were played one at a time, they would be melodic intervals, but since they're played together, they're harmonic intervals, and these are all different kinds of thirds. So the letter names here, the bottom note is F and the top note is A. That happens to be a major third. The bottom note is G, the top note is B flat. Because G to B flat is the distance of 1.5 steps, that is a minor third. This was a major third, it's 2 whole steps. G flat to B flat, that's a little bit further apart than G to B flat. That's not 2 whole steps. Yeah, it is 2 whole steps. G flat up a whole step is A flat up a whole step is B flat. That's a major third. B flat to D is also a major third. B flat to C is a whole step and C to D is a whole step. That's 2 whole steps is a major third. But now we're looking at A to C. A to B is a whole step, but B to C is a half step. 1.5 steps is a minor third. So she recommends you to practice these intervals 3 times. They're all harmonic thirds. And then we're supposed to look at measure 13 to find out how many E flats are played. There's 3 E flats. Remember the flat at the beginning, if wherever there's a flat in the measure, all of the notes on that line or space after it will be flatted until the bar line or a natural sign gets used. You have a pedal mark, and then you're going to play the damper pedal with your right foot. It's called the damper pedal. And the ottava sign, because it's below the note, means you're going to play it lower, an octave lower than written. So, looking at this piece, see if I can shift the camera just enough to get all of it in there. Yeah, I think it's gonna work. If you want to do the solfege for this, it gets interesting at the end because she likes to play with chromaticism. She's composing within certain boundaries that she's set up for herself. Trying to use just seconds and thirds and make it interesting. So this is in F major, and the last note is F. That's Do, but she spends a lot of time dealing with this pattern, which is actually So. So it goes So, La, Ti, Do, La, Do, Ti, La, 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 Ti, La, La, So. So, La, Ti, Do, La, Ti, Do, Re, Ti, Re, Do, Ti, La, Re. And this is right there. You could argue that this should really be sung in C major, but I'm not going to do that. So, La, Ti, Do, La, Do, Ti, La, 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 Ti, La, La, So. So, Te, that's the flat 7. Te, 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 La, So, Do, La, So, Fa, Do, La, I'm sorry, So, La, Te, Do, Do, Do. So she plays with chromaticism there at the end. So, since I played this hands apart in the overhead view, I'm just going to play it hands together for you. But you should practice the right hand alone like about 5 times. Then practice the left hand alone about 5 times. And then I would recommend putting, this one's a little complicated, so I'm going to show you how to put it hands together. Play the last measure hands together. Remember to go down an octave for that and pop your pedal on. So here we go. Okay, now I'm going to play the last 2 measures hands together. 1, 2, ready, go. A good reason to practice backwards like this is because the hard stuff is usually at the end. Let's do these 4 bars together. So you're going to have G flat and B flat with fingers 4 and 2 and E flat with your right hand, finger 3. Here we go. Then go to G natural in your left hand. Then let's do it from measure 11. Here we go. Then we will go for measure 9. Ready, play. And then, because it's getting to be easier and more similar, we'll go for measure 5. But if you need to practice it hands apart in smaller sections than this, please just pause the video and do that. Ready, play. And then we'll take it from the beginning, and hopefully you will are finding that the ending, which is the more complex chromatic section, is easier to play now. If you'd started at the beginning, this would always be harder to play, but I think now it kind of evens out because you've practiced this more times. 1, 2, ready, play. And that is it for evening song.